Hey everybody, it's your Uncle Bear. So, let's say hypothetically that I have a meeting coming up with, say, I don't know, Secretary of Transportation Sean Duffy. I don't, by the way. I'm not that important, and hell, I have to have an appointment to schedule a meeting with my dog. But hypothetically, let's say I do, and I want you to tell me what needs to change in the trucking industry. You know, for me, one of the things is the hours of service regulations. You know, there needs to be they need to get rid of the 14-hour rule and bring back the 15-hour rule, midnight to midnight. And we need to get sit-down restaurants, regular ones, not Denny's. Denny's, and don't get me wrong, I like Denny's, but, you know, not at every truck stop. It used to be, you know, I miss the old 76 truck stops, Union 76s. They each had their own, they were independent of each other, you know, different menus at every place. It was awesome. But that, and also flexibility for like weather. You know, let's say that you stop somewhere, your driving hours run out, but there's an ice storm moving your way. That's gonna make you sit for like 2 days, you know, before it gets through there and gets cleaned up and everything to where you can actually drive. There should be some sort of provision that, hey, you know what, if you can outrun this storm and, you know, get to where that storm's not going to be tracking behind you or whatever, you should be able to do, you know, you should be able to run up to 4 or 5 hours to get the hell out of its way, rather than basically just stop interstate commerce for 2 days, you know. And what people don't realize is a lot of the loads that we haul, if they're not delivered on time, you could be, you know, and my dad taught me this at early in my career. He was a plant manager for a mobile home manufacturing company. But he said, you make sure you're on time with your loads if you absolutely positively can, because he said you could be the difference between someone being able to work and provide for their family that day or not. You know, so a lot of the loads that we haul, if we don't deliver them, people don't get to work that day because the stuff that they need to work to do their jobs isn't there. Now, if, you know, I pull a reefer, as you know, I always look at it like this. People don't eat. If I don't bring the stuff, then the shelves run empty, and somebody that's got a craving for whatever the hell I'm hauling, go to the store, and it's not there. I don't want to disrupt anybody's cravings. Do you? I don't know. That's a couple things I think need to be changed. But yeah, I would like to, you know, and also like I say, the 15-hour rule, you know, you have time. I think there was less driver fatigue actually with that, because you had time to stop for coffee breaks. You also had time to sit and talk to the other drivers. Drivers don't talk like they used to. We don't have, you know, have 3/4 of us don't have CBs in the trucks anymore, which is why you see all these pileups. But we used to it used to be a brother/sisterhood out here, you know. as long as I've been driving, there have been lady drivers, and I never had a problem with one of them. I used to have a lot of fun running with them. But yeah, like I say, we don't talk to each other anymore. And shit, 70% of what I know about trucking, I learned around the coffee counters in those truck stops. But you had time to sit down, have breakfast or coffee in the morning, wake up a little bit before you got behind the wheel. Now, everything is just so tightly scheduled that, you gotta jump out of bed, throw your pants on, get behind the wheel and go. And that shouldn't be. That kind of stuff is what causes accidents, and that's part of the 14-hour rule, is not having, being rushed through your day. You should never be rushed through your day, not when you're dealing with an 80,000-pound monster screaming down the highway system. Another thing, I just read an article today that Indiana is going to start tolling I-70, or it's proposed anyway. I don't know if it's actually in, but they're saying that it's going to cost trucks 54 cents a mile going the entire length of I-70 across Indiana. So it'd be $84.25 for a big truck. Folks, seriously, I get it. Traffic's a bitch. There's more and more drivers out on the road all the time. I get it. Somebody's got to pay for the roads. But goddamn, trucks every single time. We already pay fuel and highway taxes in every single state that we drive in. And, it already costs, I ran the numbers a few years ago, what it would cost going from, say, Janesville, Wisconsin, and I use that as an example because you're going to go right into the Northwest Tollway in Illinois. But going I-90 and running down through Chicago, using the toll roads because that's the quickest way rather than downtown, and then down onto the Indiana toll road 80-90, and then across Indiana and Ohio and Pennsylvania and the George Washington Bridge. I forget how much it was like $1,000 in tolls for a truck to go out to Hunts Point, and it's just like, Jesus criminy. Folks, give us a break. We can't pay for everything. Trucking can't pay for everything. We're not getting the rates. We're not getting the rates that we need to sustain this. Even if you have direct customers, yeah. And even if we did get the rates, guess who that's going to come back on eventually? It's going to come back on you, the consumer. At some point. But it's just, because everybody always says, well, if the truck drivers get a raise, it's going to hit you at the shelf. Not always. It depends on the freight, and it depends on where the freight's coming from, and that, a lot of times the brokers just got to take a bite if that truck driver should happen to get a raise. But there's too many bottom feeders that'll haul freight for $1.50 a mile. And hopefully within the next few months, when they start, if that Delilah's Law gets passed, hopefully we get rid of a lot of them, a lot of those bottom feeders, because they're not doing us any good. So anyway, like I say, let me know in the comments what needs to change in the trucking industry to make it better. And I want some serious feedback on this, okay? Everybody be safe out there. Have a fantastic day, all right? Behave yourselves.